Hello, hello. I am Crystal Arthur, and this is Testify Tuesday in our functional faith group. We are here with Johanna. Hi, Johanna.
How are you?
If you are watching with us today, comment, like. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, and be a good friend. Be the change. Share this with somebody that you care about. If you're not familiar with our group, Functional Faith, let me give you the rundown. In Functional Faith, we help you experience the divine all the time in your money, marriage, family, food, feelings, fitness, despite dysfunction or even doubt. How do we do this? By using empathy, education, and empowerment to help you get to the root of what's holding you back from experiencing the freedom in mind, body, and spirit that is waiting for you. We are here today with Johanna. I'm going to share with you about Johanna. She is known as a cooking and TV personality, Mama Cuisine. She's captivated audiences with her show In the Kitchen with Mama Cuisine, sharing great everyday meals with simple ingredients and basic cooking technique. Her warm and engaging personality has garnered audiences worldwide. Get it, girl. Today, Johanna is building a financial services agency in life insurance, showing families the recipes to generational wealth and income protection. As a director of expansion of PHP agency and being mentored by the CDO Matt Sapala, her mission is to help people transform their lives and build their family legacy business. Let me say that again, and build their family legacy business
Yes.
in the insurance industry on PHP Agency's platform. I know Johanna because I discovered PHP on YouTube, and when I was researching for functional faith, right, for what we're already doing for one of our pillars, which is functional finance, and I was like, okay, I need to learn about functional finance. I don't really know where to start. Like I did the Dave Ramsey back in the day, before we got married and everything. I've had my ear to the ground somewhat. I felt like, we had just like with everything else in functional faith, y'all, we have a lot of dysfunction in this area, right?
Yes.
That's what led to us learning is our dysfunction. So I'm like, where do I even start? And I Googled how to create generational wealth. And who did I find?
Wow.
Who did I find?
Yeah.
Matt.
That's a pile of seven figure squad.
Yeah, seven figure squad. And I
Wow.
was like, okay, I want to get on this seven figure squad.
Yeah.
So I called Johanna, and I called Matt's number, and Johanna answered. And I was like, I'm in. I want to do whatever this dude is talking about. Like, I want to create generational wealth. I want to be a part of getting to the root of the dysfunction that we see, the poverty gap. And Johanna is who I spoke to, and she just blew my mind and continued to. I got to meet her last week and continues to blow my mind, the woman that she is. So I have to introduce her to you guys. So, Johanna, would you please do us the honor of sharing with us your story?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for that introduction and for having me here today on your platform. I think what you're doing is so huge. This is exactly what families need. And so I really commend you for putting yourself out there. It's not easy. But we need more people like you. So I'm very happy to be in business with you and to share a lot of what I've done. So for you guys watching, I'm Mama Cuisine. You'll see it there. I've had my cooking show for 12 years this August. So my entrepreneurship journey started a long time ago. But like anything else, you're learning along the way. And just like what you said, Crystal, there's a lot of dysfunction to you learning how to be successful in things. And so I just knew at a very young age, my earliest memory, probably around 7 years old, that I never wanted to work for anybody. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, thank God. I come from a huge family legacy um, of furniture exporting in the Philippines. And, I'm Filipino and Indian. So that entrepreneurial gene is definitely in me. And I've just always had it in me. And I love to cook. I love to be around people, and I was always like the drama geek, right? I loved theater, and I always sang glee club theater. So I did the two things that I really love, which is cooking and performance, and put it together in 2009 and started my cooking show literally from nothing before social media was even a thing. And I just never quit. I knew what I wanted. I knew who I wanted to be, even though I didn't have the exact outline of how to get there. I just did it, and it just grew. Right, the cooking show, online based, but it took me to so many opportunities on television, Food Network magazine, national tours, national tours with cooking. Right, there's just huge opportunities there. And 2 years ago, I was really at a point of reinventing myself.
Mm.
I wanted to grow. Right, there's many pinnacles. I always say you have several come to Jesus moments in your life. And I had a come to Jesus moment again, right? And I realized, I want to reinvent myself, and I have to reinvent myself to become a better version of myself. And I wasn't sure what. And you know, God always blesses us with the people He brings us. And it just so happened that the CDO, he wasn't the CDO yet, but the highest income earning organization builder in PHP agency was a very good friend of mine. And that's Matt Topala, Seven Figure Squad, and the CDO of PHP agency today. It just so happened that we met over 10 years ago when we were both starting our shows. He had a show on MSN Money. I want to say it's MSN Money. He had a reality show and he was promoting it. And I had my cooking show and I was promoting it. So we used to co host a lot of events together in the city of Chicago. We used to see each other all the time on the red carpet, was when we saw each other a lot. And can you believe years later, I ended up calling him after he got married and his beautiful wife Sheena was pregnant. And I really didn't know what, but I reached out to him because I knew my friend Matt has this business that he talked to me about years ago. And I came in and I saw how the impact that I could have in financial services. I saw the business, the legacy business that I can create for my family and continue my family legacy in entrepreneurship, but do it my way. Right? It may not be in furniture exporting, but it's my way to continue the family legacy, which is very important to me and my family. My last name Mirpuri holds a lot of weight, right? Not just for the outside world, but within our family. So it was very important to me to be an entrepreneur for a very long time and continue that. And 2 years ago, I realized that in financial services, I can make such a huge impact, which matters to me, for other people, but build a multi-million dollar company, build my own multi-million dollar business that I can pass on to my kids and their kids and just keep making it grow. Because the beauty about being in the money industry is we all know money compounds. It's a compounding effect. And I will always preach entrepreneurship to people. And that brings me to where I am today as the director of expansion at PHP Agency, and such a huge honor to be working side by side with the CEO of the company. God really positions us all. That's why we can never take for granted the people put in your life, because some of those people put in your life are meant to increase you. And that's how I see Matt Zabala and his wife Gina. And I don't ever take it for granted. And now I'm building to so that I could be an agency owner and a franchise owner in the near future and help others build their agencies as well. It's such a fulfilling industry and such a fulfilling business to be a part of.
Yes, yes. That reminds me of like the saying, like, like what is it? When the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
I,
Yes.
I feel like that's like what Matt and Gina were for you, and that's like what you guys are for me. Like I think that just really sums it up.
Yeah.
And so I want you to um, share with us about loving what you do, loving
Yes.
what you do, and getting to the root of what's holding us back. Because I feel like a lot of people, we have what over 50 million of us are out of jobs right now, have filed for unemployment,
Hmm.
and so maybe even more people than that. But we go from it's hard for us to like choose to pursue something that we really love, not just making money to like survive, but making money so that we can thrive and that we can share with others and provide for others and really have like a great impact. I get caught up in things holding me back all the time, all the time. And I know that you see a lot of people holding themselves back. So talk to us about that. And I know, and you as I'm babbling, sorry, but you as
No,
like
you're good.
as a single mom, as a mother of 3 children,
Yeah.
that takes a lot of gumption and courage to pursue your dreams rather than just doing something that's safe, right? That's safe.
Yeah. There's a huge misconception that when you're a mom, you have to give up who you are. I think that's the worst thing you can do, because what are you teaching your kids?
Hmm.
And you're not showing them how fun it is to be yourself. Like you're not showing them, like, look, you're not Mother Teresa. Like there's no, you don't get extra rewards. You know what I mean? You know why I grew up with a mom who went for her dreams. That's why I'm the way I am. And I grew up with a mom who worked very hard, built her dreams, built her dress shop in the Philippines, and dressed dignitaries, celebrities, built a business based on that, because that's what she loved to do. And she was also in the corporate world and won awards and the best salesperson for the pharmaceutical firm she worked for. My father and her traveled the world, right? My family, I come from a family of people who are from India and migrated to the Philippines and built huge business, a worldwide business in furniture exporting. So I grew up seeing people not settling for less. And the best thing you can do for your children is to do that for them, so that you get to build your family legacy and last name. And you become who they talk about. Like I talk about my grandparents, right? You want to be who your great great grandchildren talk about. Like, thank God they did this, because now my identity is so big as a human, as a person, because we carry a last name that is so huge. And I think in our society today, we are taught to be average. We're
Hmm.
taught to be normal. And and I was just never like that. I think because of the way I grew up. I grew up with people who wanted to be extraordinary, people who did crazy things. My aunt was a jazz singer in Japan her whole career. These are things that people would not find sensible.
Right.
And at the end of the day, everyone has the same issues, whether or not you have money. But would you rather have issues with money, or would you rather have issues broke? And there's a huge misconception that money doesn't make you happy.
Hmm.
Money absolutely makes you happy. It makes me happy, right? It's when you worship money.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, so there, you don't get extra awards for being poor and happy.
Yes, you bring that up. It's interesting that the church speaks out a lot. At least like I've seen the church speak out a lot against like prosperity gospel, right?
Mhm.
But we don't talk about poverty theology. Like a lot of us grow up with this belief that like it's more right or more holy to not have enough or to live paycheck to paycheck, and that there's something inherently sinful about being wealthy.
Yeah.
And so, like, you bring up a good point there.
Money is a magnifier
Hmm.
of who you are. So if you are naturally an a-hole, you're just an a-hole with money. But
Yep.
if you naturally have a heart for God, heart for Christ, and naturally is a giving person and a loving person, imagine your effect in the world,
Yes.
being that kind of person. So, we have to fight through so many things that's going against that. And to be honest, we are so wired to be broke that Building a business is not that hard. What you're fighting against is yourself,
Yes.
the horrible mindsets that you've been ingrained with your whole life. Business is not that hard. Business is fun to build, but you're fighting against your own limited mindsets. So when you're talking about, oh, I want to do what I'm passionate about, to be honest, 90% of people who I talk to don't even know what they're passionate about.
Yes, that's a good point.
They don't know what they're passionate about,
Mm.
and they're not willing to learn. I never knew I would be in the insurance business. It sounds horribly boring, right? I never knew how sexy this business was. I never understood that this business could give me the life that I know I'm destined to have, right? That
Hmm.
I'm supposed to have. And I never knew I would have a passion for this. But see, you don't know what you know until you do it.
Yes.
So most people stop themselves and thinking, well, I don't have a passion. How do you know? How do you know at the job that you are right now that you were gonna do that for the last 20 years, that you've been doing for the last 10 to 20 years? You didn't know. You just took a job and you learned along the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with finding your passions. Most people do not even know what they're passionate about because they were taught, no, you're not supposed to have passions. You're just supposed to go to school and grab a paycheck and pay for stuff, pay
Yes.
for a house, pay for a car. I live my life very passionately, and my relationships very passionately, because that's how I was taught. So I think, and even in my family, there's everyone has limited mindsets to go against. And being an entrepreneur is not for everybody, or everybody would be doing it. But there's a few people who's watching this today, watching right now, who are saying, I do want to transform myself. And I have to learn whatever it is I got to learn to make that transformation,
Yes.
right? I have to do whatever it takes to put myself in a new situation, because the situation I'm in right now has not been working, and I'm 40 years old, and I'm 50 years old, or I'm 30 years old. It hasn't worked this whole time. So what makes me think it's going to keep on working moving forward? So that was where I was when I pivoted. And guess what? That word is huge these days. And
Yep.
people have to pivot into different careers. So you might as well pivot into a very wealthy industry that's never crashed. Because every other industry you look at right now is teetering, right? You're only one crash away from it completely imploding, exploding.
Yeah.
So, being in the financial services business industry and insurance, to me, has a huge job security, career security, and business security. And I'm just able to share that with everybody.
Yeah. And that you brought up such a good point. I mean, when I first considered being in financial services, I was like, I mean, we always knew we want to educate people and empower people with their finances in functional faith, right? But when I considered actually getting my license, I was like you said, it sounds boring. And like, I'm not good with numbers. Like, never, I've never been good with numbers. And so I was like, this doesn't add up. This doesn't. But then I was like, wait, these are limiting beliefs. These are
Exactly.
limiting beliefs. Like, I think that I'm not passionate about finance. I think I'm not passionate about, insurance. I think that I'm not good with numbers. But why do I think those things? Like, what is like actually the core of who I am?
Yeah.
Well, I want to help people, right? I want to serve people. I want to do something that's fulfilling. You know what I mean? Like, I want to empower people, and
Yes.
like it fits. And then I don't even know what I was watching or listening to, but somebody was like, life insurance is taking care of widows and orphans. And isn't that what Jesus said to do? I was like, oh,
It's huge. Yes, it's really huge. Life insurance, first of all, because people are so uneducated about it, they don't understand the wealth you can build. This is where a lot of America's wealthiest families have become that way,
mhm.
because of this boring thing people think is life insurance. No, it is the sexiest thing. And until you learn it, and unfortunately, it's not taught in schools. This is why the middle class think the way they think about the industry and the products, because they were not taught it in school. Now, wealthy people have a different kind of education. They are around people who talk about money all the time. The middle class hate to talk about money because they are very sensitive about money. Because if it's hard to talk about something you don't know anything about. The only
Mhm.
thing the middle class know how to do is to work to get a paycheck to go buy the nicest car in the biggest house. They don't really know. Six-figure income earners are still paycheck to paycheck.
Yes, and I learned that, and I was so surprised because that's kind of like growing up in the 90s. That's what you hear is like the goal, right? Like, oh, you if you earn six figures, like you're rich.
Yeah, no.
And then like I was on a website and it was like you have to make like 96,000 to even be able to make ends meet with a family of three. And I was like, well, that's not our household income.
So that's not even that. That's not even anything,
Yeah,
right? So
that wasn't counting
a year is
vacation.
not
Yeah.
anything. Yeah. So the goal is to, we have to shift the way we think. How come the wealthy, they have access to different kinds of information? And
Hmm.
because of this is why this business is just so important, because we're able to give this information to everyday people who otherwise would not know anything how this stuff works, how
Yeah.
to build wealth for the next generation and their family, how to
Hmm.
make sure they're protecting all their income when that time comes that they become ill and then pass away,
Yeah.
right? Like, we just don't prepare for the inevitable with the middle class, which is why we're all paycheck to paycheck, which is why a lot of middle class people after two paychecks could get kicked out of their homes.
Right.
So we're just so susceptible to so many things. And in this industry, I'm able to teach somebody, right, the rules of the money game. I'm able to teach somebody how to become an entrepreneur, how to change their mindset, how to build a legacy business, how to start to create a business on the side without having to change their situation at the moment.
Right.
And just start to learn this stuff, because otherwise you would not know, and you'll just be working for the rest of your life, literally. Most middle class people have to work until they die. So
Mhm.
those people that you say you'll never be at Walmart, that is going to be you,
Hmm.
unless you learn to build a business in the right industry. And thank God I've been exposed to that, and which is why I just want to share that with people. Growing up with people, my parents themselves were middle class, middle upper class, right? But our family, um, very very wealthy, and I grew up around a lot of wealth, and they move differently, they talk differently, they have different kinds of friends. There's a reason why they move together, why their marriages are arranged. Marriage is a business. Marriage is a business, right? I know it's gonna make a lot of people mad, possibly, but marriage is a business because you are building. No one wants to build a life being broke. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense.
It's painful, and it's why it's the statistically speaking, it's why most people get a divorce, right? Most people get a divorce over money. And so it causes so much stress and it's a burden on the family.
Yeah.
And so, but instead to be able to build something together. When we met last week, when we were at the convention, and Tebow was speaking and all that, I saw so many couples, built and families building something together,
Yes.
can pass on to the next generation. That
Yes.
was incredible to me. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about like my family story, but I'm going to share that next month. In the month of March, we're going to be talking about functional finance all month long. And so I'm going to share the details of my story then. But like when I realized you can get a policy, and like we think that it's death insurance, right? We think it's death insurance, but it's for life. And I've started calling it quality of life insurance because I was like, whoa, if we were educated, and that's something else. I'm skipping around a little bit, but that's something else I love about PhD agencies, that it's so multi-ethnic.
Yeah.
I've never seen that many multi-ethnic families, um, and leadership making a difference for all communities, right? But I just if our family had all this information, all this knowledge and wisdom,
Mm.
how different. A lot of you guys know that my parents are both disabled. I'm 30 and they're like in their early 50s.
Yeah.
right? They've been disabled for years. If we had that information, quality of life, both of them, their quality of life would be substantially better.
Yeah.
And this is information that you need to know, their life, not their death,
Their
not
life.
that they would have passed on to me, but their life right now today would be completely different if we had this information. And my life, had I known 10 years ago about this, if
Yeah.
I started 10 years ago, I had my money making money
Yes.
in a safe
Exactly.
environment where I can never lose it, and where I can access it, where I can access it when I need to, right? I could access it for buying a house. I could access it for going to school, right? And not have to assume so much debt, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, can you maybe come up with just a few practical things you want to leave us with how to crush our limiting beliefs
Yeah.
and pursue, maybe not like you said, our passion, but pursue doing something that we can become passionate about.
Wow. I love that. Number one is to get on the right platform. Right? We always say work hard, but what are you working hard at? What are you working hard for? Work hard in the right industry. Work hard on the right platform that your hard work is going to give you fruit.
Mm.
Working hard for somebody or a company so that you can get a minimum wage. Minimum. It's called minimum for a reason, which means the least amount. Minimum means the least amount, right? Or to get what? A $3,000 raise, spread that out for a year. It's literally pennies, right? Like, so find the right platform, which is why we always talk about the PHP agency platform. That's what I'm going to talk about because that's what I know and I've seen it work. It's proven the concept, right? So get on the right platform so that you can learn the skills to give you confidence, right? Because the lack of confidence means you don't have skills in a certain thing when it comes to career and work in business. So learn the skills that's proven to build wealth, like sales skills. Again, there's a reason why the middle class is very scared of sales. Like, you've never heard a millionaire be afraid of it, yet the middle class are so scared of it. Huh, interesting. Why? When that's proven to make people millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting why the middle class is so afraid of sales, right? So you got to break through that. Get on the right platform. Be around the right community. Your associations matter. Who you are constantly listening to, what you're listening to, and who you're listening to matters.
Yes.
Because in this world, the second you get up and leave your home, and unfortunately, a lot of us also have it within the home, where you are told you're not good enough, you're never gonna make it, there's no way you could start a business, you've messed up in the past, there's no way, it doesn't work, it's a scam, all this stuff, right? Be around the right people so you are listening to the right things. Because what you hear, right, is very biblical. What you hear goes in your heart, goes into your mind, creates the world that you live in. Because you act out on what you feel and
Yeah.
what you hear and what your mind says. So it's very important to be around the right group of people and the right community. Listen to the right things. Read the right books, right? Talk to the right people who are actually going to challenge you, right? And be around a community that you know is going to push you. Be accountable. Be accountable to what you actually want, because mediocrity allows you to just, it's okay. Don't worry, no problem. People who win, look at athletes. People who win are relentless in being the best at what they do. They breathe it, they sleep it, they envision it, they visualize it, they do the work, they wake up early. Mediocrity is what? It's okay, just go get a paycheck, do your bare minimum for the minimum wage. Everything is minimum. Do the bare minimum for your marriage, right? Like, do the bare minimum for everything in your life. So we wonder why I was talking about this today. We wonder why so many people don't like their lives. They experience a lot of stress, depression, anxiety. You know why? I truly believe because your spirit is telling you this is not enough.
Ooh.
It's your
Ooh.
spirit telling you this is not good enough. You have to level up. You are depressed in this way of living. You are
Hmm.
depressed in this relationship. You have anxiety for your future. Why? Because you're not building anything.
Hmm.
God did not make you to be mediocre. God did not make you to have a mediocre marriage and to be a mediocre mom or dad, or to have a mediocre life and mediocre paycheck and mediocre everything. So no wonder you're depressed and have anxiety for the future. You're depressed with your life. Now, I'm not talking about people who have legit chemical imbalance. Yes.
Right.
I'm talking about people who are just literally depressed and they don't know why. They don't know why they don't like their lives. They
Mhm.
don't know why they're unsatisfied. On the flip side, that's a good thing because it's your life telling you to level up. You are not
Hmm.
meant to just be mediocre. You are so dissatisfied with yourself because you know you should be more. You know you should get up and push for something, challenge yourself, compete for something, for Christ's sake, fight for something. What are you fighting for?
Yeah.
So most people are very depressed in their lives, Crystal, because they're not fighting for anything. And we are meant, there's a reason why we're at the top of the food chain. We're the ones that will survive things. A species get killed off. We don't. So we are the biggest fighters. So if you're not fighting for anything, it's no wonder you feel depressed and
Hmm.
anxiety for your future. So, I know that from personal experience. I can speak on that because I felt it. And you know why I'm always, and for those people who know me, they know I'm always at 110% in my energy because I am fighting for something every day. And I would not have my life any other way. I may not be exactly where I am, but this is why you fight. What are you fighting for? Right? What are you fighting for?
What are you fighting for? Oh man, that's good. That's good, girl. Thank you, isn't it? If you leave you with that, what are you fighting for? What are you fighting for? Right? Do you love what you're doing today, right now? You saw the post, the description of this video. Are you excited when you wake up?
Yes.
Is what you're doing making your heart sing when you tell somebody else about it? Do you feel like you're serving the world and fulfilling a higher purpose or calling? Right? Ah, man, Johanna, thank you so much. Tell us how we can connect with you on social media and after this, and anything else that you have going on that you want to share with us.
Yes, definitely connect with me on Instagram and Facebook. It's at Mama Cuisine, MOMMA Cuisine. I'm always on social media. It's the best and easiest way to connect with each other. Send me a direct message. I'd love to talk to you more, answer some questions. I'm very open and honest. And, the point is to use your life to be helpful to others. And that's all really I hope to do is to use my life, my talent, my story, my testimony to help other people find their way. And of course, in doing so, and that's in growing in business and in finances and in your spirituality, like nobody's perfect, but we could grow together.
Yes.
And that's my biggest purpose in life. So I'd love to meet you guys on Instagram, Facebook, Mama Cuisine. And thank you so much for allowing me to be here today.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it so much. If you want to find out more about the opportunity that Johanna has presented, if you want to become an associate, we are looking for other associates. Connect with her, connect with me, and we'll make it happen, right? And if you enjoy this kind of content, if you want to experience the divine all the time in every aspect of your life, make sure you're a part of the Functional Faith Facebook group. All right. Thanks again, Johanna.
Thank you.
Go in peace and presence.